Hi everybody, what's up? My name is Juan, I am Just One Reader, and I am here with a review of Ship of Magic. This is book 1 in the Live Ship Traders trilogy, which is the second trilogy in Robin Hobb's big, huge, sprawling series of books, which are all set in the same fantasy world. Now, the reason why this review is called a sad disappointment is because that's what my reading experience was with this book. A couple of days ago, I made a video talking about my 5-star predictions, the books that I really thought that would blow me away, that would be completely amazing, and that I would give 5 stars to. This was one of them. This was a book and a trilogy that I was really excited about. This was one of my most anticipated reads of the year. I have been meaning to read it ever since last year, I think, when it started to get really big on BookTube. I started to see a lot of videos and reviews of people that I trust and really enjoy and that I can relate to their taste, and they talked so highly about this particular trilogy. And I love fantasy, I love series, but I don't read them a lot, and I just don't read them very regularly. And I thought, well, this is a series that I could really love. This is a trilogy that I want to get lost in, that I want to get to know the world and the characters, particularly the characters, because something that this book actually has as a very positive thing for me is that the characters are all very subversive in a way. They don't follow the usual regular fantasy tropes. They don't necessarily do or act the way that you would expect fantasy characters to act like, and I thought that was really good, but more on that later. So in this book we follow a very wide cast of characters, and I actually did enjoy the characters. That was something that I thought was really well done. They are all very complex and layered, and even the really bad guys, you can sort of understand why they're doing what they're doing. And I thought that Robin Hobb had this kind of moral ambiguity in her characters that I really like in a series or in any book, really. So I enjoyed that. Now, I also enjoyed some aspects of the plot. I do feel like the plot was kind of convoluted and badly done, but there were some elements that I liked. I really enjoyed how everything felt like a big melodramatic soap opera, which is good because this is the kind of story that it is. This is essentially a family drama, which is told very much like a soap opera. I don't really have a problem with that. I just feel like it was badly done. It was a badly told soap opera. Something else that I enjoyed was the concept and the premise of the book and the world that we live in this book. I thought all of Robin Hobb's ideas were very good, and she had a lot of potential in those ideas. Basically, this idea of the live ships, the ships that come to life and they kind of have this personality, and how they connect to the members of the family that they serve. I thought that premise alone is really, really cool. And there were a lot of really cool things in this book. My only problem, which is my biggest problem and the most frustrating thing as a reader to experience, is to feel like you have a golden nugget of happiness buried under 1,000 layers of crap, and you have to dig through all the crap in order to get to that wonderful golden nugget of happiness. That's what this book felt like for me. I felt like I just had to peel through all the layers of Robin Hobb's unreadable writing style, which really felt unreadable to me. It felt like a distraction, like a barrier, like something that prevented the reader from actually enjoying the story. At least that's how I felt. I felt like the book was just unreadable and unaccessible. And when I finally got something good out of it, it was like the same thing all over again. Like, peel all the layers of her tedious, awful writing style, just to know what was happening. So this experience was just really frustrating for me because I this is a story with great characters, with great ideas, with fabulous concepts. It's a story that I would love to read and that I would love to experience if someone else wrote it, because Robin Hobb does not work for me. She writes, how can I explain how she writes or how her writing felt like for me? This is like your kind of awkward visit to your senile grandmother, and she sort of grabs you by the shoulder, sits you down, and starts telling you her stories, the stories of her life, for hours and hours and hours, and you're just sitting there nonplussed thinking, when is this going to be over? And you don't have any clue as to what she's telling you and what's actually going on. And just when you think that you caught something interesting in her stories, she just starts, oh yes, I remember, it was the year of, and she just rambles on and on and on forever, and you're just like, oh, here she goes again, fuck. So that's what this book felt like for me. It was a complete droning experience. Something else that I really hated about this book and the writing of this book was the amount of silly, unnecessary detail that was given and provided by the author. And you know, I am all for detail. I really appreciate detail and world building and all that. You know me. But this just felt like, what, ridiculous. I mean, ugh. I really like it when I'm reading a book and I feel like the author is in complete command of their story, and like the author knows everything about their world and the universe and the rules of their magic and whatever. I just love that feeling of knowing that the author knows everything, but they are not telling me everything. I just know that the author knows it, but they decide what is good for me to know and what is not necessary or what is going to be revealed afterwards. And Robin Hobb felt like she was just throwing every idea that came into her mind. She was just throwing everything at the reader, bombarding the reader with unnecessary details about the politics, economics, history. Like every single bit of information that came to her mind, she would just throw it at the reader, and it was just so unnecessary. And I really cannot believe that an editor didn't decide to do something about it, because this book doesn't flow well. It doesn't read well enough. There were some chunks of the book that I thought were really great. I was reading them with a big smile on my face and thinking, wow, this is going really great. I love these characters. I love Althea. I love Wintrow. But then there were some big chunks of this huge mammoth of a book where I just felt like, where's this going? Why am I reading this? Who am I? What is the point of my existence? So to sum up my overall conclusions about this book, no, I did not like it. I did not enjoy it. I was able to intellectually admire and even love some of the things that were in this book, like the characters. I think the characters, more than anything, was the thing that I really liked. I also liked the premise of this live ships and pirates and the family drama aspect. I really liked that, even though it was like a soap opera and it was sometimes very tacky and very cheesy, but still, you know, I can look past that. But what I couldn't look past is this kind of horrible execution, this awful, awful writing style. I think Robin Hobb is not a good writer. At least for me, she will not be a good writer. She's not a writer that I want to ever read again. I found her writing exactly like visiting your senile grandmother who is telling you everything. And no, no, I will not be continuing on with this series. I'm really saddened by that fact because I really wanted to love these books, but there's no point in kidding myself. I did not enjoy this book. I gave it 2 stars out of 5. And that was generous because I was very frustrated, but I still feel like there were redeeming qualities. So I will not be continuing on with the rest of the series. So my TBR for the remainder of August is going to change somewhat. Instead of reading books 2 and 3 in the series, I'll just have to compensate and read something else. But honestly, what's the point in finishing off a series that you felt so negatively about the first book? So if you have any thoughts on the Lifeship Traders trilogy, it can be book 1 or 2 or 3 or the overall series. I don't care. If they are positive or negative, leave them down below so that we can talk about it. I don't think that I will be convinced to continue on with the rest of the series because I just hated this book so much. It is the worst book I've read in 2017 so far because of the disappointment that it was. But who knows? I'm open to, maybe in a couple of months or weeks, I will feel inclined to revisit these characters and maybe I will be crazy enough to go on with book 2. I don't know. Leave your comments down below and please let me know what you think of this series because right now I'm like a mess. Like, Robin Hobb, why did you do this to me?